Hey guys, how's it going? Andrew here, Enough Said Cards on Thursday evening. Hope everyone's having a good week. Just wanted to make a video tonight, something going to be a little bit different, but spring training is getting going, which is awesome. And last year, I posted a video from spring training. I went down to Fort Myers to Red Sox spring training with my family, and just posted a couple of the autographs we got and some other things. And this last year was actually the third time that I'd gone to spring training, and got a couple comments actually in the last week or two asking for some tips about spring training, I guess in general, and getting autographs. So just figured I'd make a video, kind of talking about my experience at spring training and how to maximize your chances of getting autographs. I am by no means expert at this. I'm sure a lot of you out there have some great tips that you could add, and I would love to hear them. And please comment if you have any other suggestions. Um, the autographs, getting the autographs really is just something that I want for my kids. I don't really collect autographs. I love seeing the players. I love walking around spring training, especially the morning workouts and minor league games and seeing what's going on. But I don't really care much for the autographs myself, but so this is going to be kind of geared towards getting autographs for kids. Maybe the tactics would, I guess, work for whoever. But so first of all, talking about spring training, I would just say whether you have any interest in getting autographs or not, I would strongly encourage any baseball fan to attend spring training. It's just an absolutely awesome time. The stadiums are small. Great seats. You can get there early in the morning, watch the teams working up. Tons of minor league players just kind of walking around like amongst you. You know, you can watch the training sessions and hear what the coaches are telling them. It's just really cool. Last year, I watched for like a half an hour. A minor league instructor had about five first basemen, probably low level minor leaguers or prospects, and just showing them doing a drill at first base where they would just, throw really bad throws, bouncing in and kind of showing them, the proper way to try to, snag those and dig them out. And it was just really interesting hearing how they ran their practices. Like I said, I've only ever attended Red Sox spring training, so this may be different for other teams and other stadiums, but we kind of learned that they open the gates to the parking lot at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we would try to be waiting there at 9 when they opened the parking lot. You can park in close, walk over to, there's a batting cage area, there's a bunch of practice fields, and, just some things that I kind of learned is that it's very helpful to kind of be friendly to the staff and the ushers and the people that are around there, because especially if they see you have kids, and you're friendly to them, they'll be willing to give you some tips, let you know what's on the schedule for the morning, who's going to be practicing where, and spending 5 minutes talking to a lot of these guys are like retired guys that seem to work down there, and spend a couple minutes talking to them, and it can be very helpful information that you get from them. A lot of the times you're going to see minor league players just kind of walking around. They're not behind fences or ropes or anything. They're just in uniform walking around, same place where you are. And one mistake I made the first year was not doing research and learning who the big prospects were. There were a handful that I knew the names of, but really you can get some great autographs of guys that are up and coming stars. But maybe aren't real popular names yet. If you just do a little bit of research and know who to be looking for, they're the guys that are a couple years from now going to be the big stars. These guys are a lot easier to get than the major league current players and stars. We've managed to get some good ones, but really it's kind of like luck, a little bit being in the right place at the right time. And just kind of being patient. But with the minor leaguers, they're really pretty accessible, and you can get their autographs if you're there early and if you know who you're looking for. Another thing that I kind of figured out after the first year was that a lot of the coaches, especially of the minor league teams, are ex-players, and they may not look the same way you remember them. They may not have their names on the back of their jerseys, but if you know who the coaches are, A lot of them were some of them were stars in the majors. Like we got Keith Folk last year, um, who I just kind of recognized, and that was pretty cool for me. The kids didn't know who he was, but for me that was cool anyway. And they went and got his autograph, and I told them who he was and how he was on the mound for the last out of the 2004 World Series. So that was neat. And there's a lot of guys like that, ex major leaguers that are now hitting instructors or whatever. I'm going to show something that I just kind of made for the kids. And I found this was pretty useful. This was just, they're walking around. They're old enough now that they can kind of do this themselves. I've kind of taught them how, but you want to have stuff easily accessible so you don't have to be digging in your pocket. Some of these guys will only be signing one or two autographs and keep it moving. So you want to be there. You want to be ready. I made these lanyards. This is just like an old card I took out of my wallet that I didn't need anymore, and kind of cut holes in it so they could have hanging around their neck some different pens. Sharpies are better for cards. I think that pens are better for ballpoint pens, better for baseballs. That's just whatever your preference is. And they brought a bunch of cards of actual, particular players, but I also got some of these. They're just blank signature cards. You can buy these. I got them at a card show, but you can get them, I'm sure, on eBay or on the internet. And these are really useful when you don't really know who you're going to be getting the autograph of. I think they look pretty nice, and the autographs come out well on them. So this is just an easy way for the kids to kind of carry their stuff around, have it accessible. They don't have to be holding it in their hands, and they just kind of have these around their necks all day. When you're talking about bringing baseballs to get signed, the first year we went, I bought a bunch of these synthetic baseballs off the internet, and because they're cheap, and I thought they looked kind of cool with the Red Sox logo. But my advice is do not buy synthetic cover baseballs. If you're going to spend money, to go down there, spend a little bit more, and get autographs that are going to look good for a long time. I don't know if you can see, this is Jackie Bradley Jr. and Henry Owens. This is from a couple of years ago, and they're already starting to fade and bleed a little bit on the synthetic cover balls. And what I do is I just kind of note down on each one who got the autographs, who it's of, and where it was and the dates. So someday the kids will be able to remember what it was and when they got it. This is a ball that Charlie got last year. And this is Mookie Betts and Rick Porcello. And I'm going to tell you the story of how they got these autographs in a couple of minutes. But this was not ideal. I prefer ballpoint pens on a ball, but this was a situation where the players already had a Sharpie in their hand, so they're not going to switch the pen. They're just going to use what they have, and the kids were obviously thrilled to get these. So I'll tell you how we ended up getting those. But bring nice new Sharpies, good ballpoint pens that you've tried out, and make sure that they work nicely. I kind of touched on this before. I'm just going down a list of notes I made. It's if you go there with the hope of only getting star players, you may get lucky, you may not. It's kind of, they're not going to stand there generally and sign 100 autographs. If you're in the right place and they decide they want to sign a few, you may get lucky. Big Papi, I didn't see sign any last year or the year before, maybe 2 years ago. Pedroia, I didn't see sign any. David Price, I did see, and we got his autograph a couple years ago, his first year with the Red Sox. He stood there for a half hour and signed for every kid until there was no kids left that didn't have his autograph, which was awesome. But you just kind of got to be there when they decide they want to do that. Again, targeting the minor leaguers, the younger stars, the prospects, you're much more likely to get those. So that's like for the morning session, be out on the practice fields. The Red Sox, the actual major leaguers play on a further field all the way in the back. You can walk around. The ushers or staff will tell you where that is and what time they're generally coming out. The park opened for the game we went to last year at 11. We went right in at 11, and tried to position the kids in a place to get uh, good autographs, which is pretty tough now because they have the netting that goes all the way around, kind of the way they do at the major league parks. And there's one little corner down by the dugout where you can kind of get there and stay there. And we were there so early, there were no players out on the field, and I just told the kids, just get down there, stand in that corner, and just stay there. And after an hour, the kids are looking back at me. I'm sitting up in my seat, and they're like, what are we doing? And I'm just like, stay there, be patient. Hopefully it'll pay off. I started to wonder if it was going to, and they were just going to be mad at me that I made them stand there for 2 hours and got nothing. But as the park started filling in, more kids end up, lining up behind them, and they got the little corner right in the best spot where the dugout is. And when the players came out, Rick Porcello kind of motioned for the kids to toss the balls in, and he signed. And then Mookie was standing next to him. He handed the ball to Mookie, and Mookie signed and tossed it back to the boys. And they were one of only a handful of kids that got autographs that way. So really being in the right spot really helps. And, just got to kind of be patient and hope you get lucky. Once the games start, they're not going to sign during the game. If they win, they're more likely to sign after the game. If they lose or, whatever, you may not get as lucky. But and I brought a backpack. As the kids would get balls and things signed, they would just bring it up to me, and I would keep them in Ziploc bags, try to keep them nice, wrap them up. Really, especially with buying the nicer leather balls, these are not cheap, the legit major league balls. So we try to limit getting those signed to keep those for, current players, stars, whatever, and, not getting some no-name minor leaguer to sign the ball. But that's just the way we did it. So anyhow, that's pretty much it. We've gotten autographs every year we've been down there, but it really kind of, you have to devote the day to getting there early and really, making an effort to get the autographs. So if anyone else has tips or strategies or anything else that they've done to try to get autographs at spring training, would love to hear it. I'm sure everyone else would also. And even if you're not into autographs, go to spring training, sit there, watch the games. It's an awesome time, and any baseball fan, I think, would absolutely love it. So that's it. This is a long video. We're almost at 13 minutes. So thanks for watching, guys. I will catch up with you soon. Bye.